All right, next topic.
Um, all right, so we mentioned the whole thing about uh Amazon possibly buying AMC, but
Yep.
there was something else that broke earlier. Or yeah, well, earlier than that rather than earlier today. I made it sound like earlier today, but um something else broke earlier about so let me take you all back. Um 2 months ago,
Wait,
in fact.
can you say that again? Because your audio just cut out at the worst time possible.
Where did you
Like right when you said like earlier, like right after you said like it makes it sound like I said it earlier today, but like right after that it cut out
all right,
real
well,
quick.
I didn't say anything of that important after that. So, uh
All right.
let me take you all back to 2 months ago
Hey,
where I where me and Ramkit did the episode of the podcast, and we talked about the NBC bringing their movies over to VOD.
yeah,
That included of like movies like The Invisible Man, which I actually managed to see, and it's actually really good. The Hunt, Emma, and Trolls World Tour, which wasn't out yet. So it was dropping the same like the release date didn't move, dropping the same day it was originally intended to, but on VOD. But
it makes sense. Can't go release
yeah,
it in
that
theaters.
makes sense because especially since if you consider like um
They're stay at home orders throughout half the country, like half the world.
where were we?
Uh, we got off Twitch stuff. Oh, we were talking about how they released Trolls on VOD instead of theaters because you can't go see the movie,
Right.
obviously.
So obviously that makes sense.
Makes
Dropping,
perfect sense.
especially since when you consider Trolls wasn't projected to make that much money. So they dropped it on VOD. However, NATO, the movie theater association thingy, uh, I'm getting texts. Sorry.
They're good.
I'm more sorry to the viewers. Whatever. So they actually came out and said like Universal didn't, consult with the theaters um about it, and every other movie that got delayed or got moved to VOD, like you look at Scoob, which has also been moved to VOD. Like Warner Brothers talked about that with the theaters. Universal apparently didn't do that with Trolls. So that all happened, and the theaters was like, "We will not forget this." So that was interesting. And then a few weeks ago, Universal came out and said like, "Oh yeah, Trolls is doing really well," which despite it really not doing very well, in fact.
Every movie says their shit's doing well.
But they said we're gonna do this with more of our movies, release them in theaters and on streaming. And then AMC came out and said, "Nope, nope. If you're gonna do that, nope, we're not having your movies in our theaters," which is insane. And then uh, soon after that, Regal came out and said, "Yeah, we're with AMC. We're not gonna let you fucking do that." And yeah, it makes sense. It's like we will refuse to show any movies that fail to uh, follow the rules. Basically, they're not following the theatrical rules. Um, so there's a bunch of shit going on with the theaters and Universal. Obviously, like they weren't gonna drop movies like Fast and Furious or Halloween on streaming, but movies like Trolls, like if that comes out, if another movie like that comes out, I'd say like that's more what they're talking about. So you hear all this, Doug. What do you think?
It's what do you want my opinion on first? Like, should Universal have talked to the theaters first, or like just everything in general?
Well, give me a give me your thoughts on that first. Universal talking to theaters, and then give me your thoughts on is it okay to like just not allow any of Universal's movies?
Look, there's a lot of shit going on in the world. Obviously, you can't go see movies right now, so it makes perfect sense from Universal's point of view to just go ahead and release it.
Yeah, exactly.
Obviously, it's scum. It's definitely scummy not to talk to the movie theaters first, but at the same time, like, what are you gonna do? You can't show it in theaters anyway right now. We're
I
gonna just
must
go
also add, Universal also advertised that the movie was coming out on streaming and in theaters, despite the theaters being closed. So that might have also been a problem. All right, continue.
Look, it's definitely scummy of Universal not to talk to them about it, or at least let them know. But at the same time, like, what can theaters do? You can't release this movie. It's, for one, something that's not going to make that much money projectedly.
Yeah, I know
And
that, but it's like you still gotta talk to them about it, like
yeah, you
whether or
still
not you want to
have to talk.
delay it or just drop it on VOD. Like
Yeah.
Warner Brothers talked about Scoob with the theaters. Disney talked about Artemis Fowl with the theaters, and that's dropping on Disney Plus. So like Universal didn't do that with Trolls. They just were like, yeah, don't ask what that was. I don't know. But, all right, continue. Sorry to cut you off.
As for Regal and AMC saying, you do that, we're not going to show our shit in the theaters, I kind of agree. Because there is a very strong, in the movie business, which I kind of have some knowledge about, there's a very strong bond between movie theaters and developers for obvious reasons. This stuff has to be coordinated and planned. So it's definitely scummy of them to say, hey, we're going to do this more, because you're taking money away from the theaters, and they have to make money. They're a business. So business-wise, this makes sense as to why they're pissed.
Yeah.
Uh,
Continue. Sorry, I didn't know you weren't done.
I mean, I really don't think I had much more to say. What else am I saying? Um, like I said, from a business standpoint, I completely understand why they're upset. There has to be a bond here, and they have to definitely know each other's movement. That's really all I got on this.
Yeah, I also saw some
I
people.
understand why, definitely.
Yeah, I also saw some people say like it's an overreaction. It seems like an overreaction at first glance, but when you think about it, like
if you really analyze what's going on here and what's at stake, it's
yeah, it's not an overreaction. So yeah, again, yeah, that is pretty scummy to do that.
Yeah.
You should definitely consult with the theaters if you're gonna drop the your movie on streaming, and then to do that without talking to the theaters, and then come out and say we're gonna do this more. That is pretty fucked up.
That's really scummy, actually. Like, just saying, oh, we're gonna do more now.
Yeah.
We're essentially gonna take money from theaters. Need to, like, because they're businesses, they have to make money. Or it's bankruptcy, and
They didn't say like they're gonna drop their movies exclusive to streaming though, but they
didn't say that, but that's definitely
no, they said like they're gonna.
go.
They said they're gonna drop them on streaming and in the theaters, but it's like that's taking away like the theater going experience and option.
Well, you know, from the average person, they're going to be like, well, why the fuck would I go leave? Why would I leave my house and go pay $36 million for a bucket of popcorn when I could sit at home, throw some in the microwave, and sit in my bed and watch it?
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
even though they're not saying that this is going to be exclusive, it essentially will over time be exclusive because you just aren't going to make any money.
And that would also like
if you want to keep this open.
Mm-hmm.
Like, movie theaters have to. There has to be movies that first come out in theaters if these businesses want to survive.
Yeah, there's the theatrical window. It's like I believe like 3 months. Not sure, but
something like that.
So, anything else?
That's really it, to be honest.
All right.